Now, during the marketing of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, I think that the best part about it was how they had a lot of Hayden Christensen interviews and a lot of Hayden Christensen promotional art and stuff like that that was really kind of putting the whole idea of Anakin's return as well as Darth Vader's return in the Kenobi series, and how that was really going to be used for pretty much, hyping up the show, in which it did, that ultimately, unfortunately, led to a lot of disappointment among the fans based on some of the other storytelling aspects by Joby Harold. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So what's not to like about Hayden, right? He's back as Vader, he's back as Anakin, and he is coming back to Star Wars in full force with multiple Star Wars TV shows, not just for, of course, playing Anakin, but also for playing Darth Vader once again. Now, we are going to be getting Darth Vader and Anakin again in the Ahsoka Tano series, as well as Anakin in Mandalorian Season 4 and beyond. However, what's even all the more exciting about this is exactly what John and Dave are currently crafting and planning for Hayden Christensen in the second season of the Ahsoka Tano series, which, by the way, right now is moving along very smoothly. Disney CEO Bob Iger and the higher-ups over at Disney are very well impressed with all the work that John and Dave have been doing for Ahsoka, especially expanding it into a multi-season show instead of just a limited series. So that's good news, at least. So with that being said, what's even all the more exciting about this is exactly what they have planned for Hayden Christensen in the second season of Ahsoka. We're going to be going into every single little detail about what John and Dave are currently developing behind closed doors. Now, both, of course, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor have signed multi-show contract deals a couple of months ago, leaving John and Dave to take full advantage of both Vader, Anakin, and Kenobi. In one of the big storyboards created by both Favreau and Filoni for the second season of Ahsoka, that is in the early works, by the way, I must mention, one of which features a plan for Ahsoka to enter into a nightmarish dream, in which she combats Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar again, just like she will in the WBW in Season 1. The WBW, of course, meaning the World Between Worlds. However, in this dream, Hayden is planned to be decked out in Vader's armor. Hayden has already been approached by John and Dave about the scene in which they plan to have both Ahsoka and Anakin fight inside of Vader's castle, where Hayden will have an unburned face inside of the Darth Vader armor. So let me just stop right here for a second. This is something very exciting, and this is something I think a lot of fans have always wanted to see in live action form, and John and Dave, well, they're delivering. So basically what's happening is Ahsoka has this nightmarish dream in which she's fighting Anakin/Vader, basically a combination of two characters, and it's Anakin Skywalker, healthy as can be, just as he was on Mustafar before he got burnt alive, on that battle, of course, between himself and Kenobi. And it's in this moment in which we have Anakin with the same exact appearance that he had throughout the majority of Episode 3, just decked out in the Vader suit without the helmet, fighting Ahsoka one-on-one with a crimson blade lightsaber against her two-bladed lightsabers. Now, when we look at this, alright, everything related to John and Dave taking advantage of nightmares and dreams, what I like about this is that this is John and Dave's way of doing a what-if scenario without necessarily calling it a what-if type of thing. And I kind of like that because, the whole what-if thing is a little odd to be used by Disney on an official scale. But to do this in the form of a dream and/or a nightmare, it makes a lot more sense. It kind of gives it more value, and it really does make it officially canon because it's going through Ahsoka's mind, and it's leading to a specific lesson. We're going to tap into that in a second. So, we already know that Ahsoka Season 1, she's going to use the WBW to fight Anakin in Kenobi's place on Mustafar. But in Season 2, basically what this is that through her experience of going to the World Between Worlds and fighting Anakin, she's going to have this nightmarish dream based on those events. and how it's going to be a little bit twisted, where she's basically fighting both Anakin and Vader at the same exact time. Elements of each character. Basically, Anakin, of course, like I said before, healthy as can be, just appearing as he did in Revenge of the Sith, without the burns, without the Vader helmet, but in that Vader suit with the Crimson Blade lightsaber this time around. And obviously the Crimson Blade lightsaber is like a callback to when she fought him in that Sith temple in Star Wars Rebels Season 4, or one of the seasons. Now, when you look at this too, everything related to that is that there's a lot of things coming out of this, is that it's a mixture of all iterations of the character. Now, giving fans, of course, a first new version of Darth Vader. In the storyboard, however, Vader's variant is labeled as Nightmare Vader. The nightmare is said to escalate to a point in which Anakin's head begins to combust into flames, leaving behind the traditional burnt, unmasked design of Vader. This is very brilliant stuff, by the way. Now, this nightmare is said to actually guide Ahsoka into discovering the Sith temple that is hidden under Vader's castle, this is canon by the way, that holds new clues to the dark side. De-aging technology is said to be used properly for when Hayden is in the suit without the helmet and unburned, appearing just as he did during his fight with Obi-Wan, except in the Vader armor. Now, like I say, when we look at everything related to Ahsoka fighting Vader, is that it really kind of is a nice little callback to both Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars Rebels. So, when we go ahead and look at everything related to Star Wars Rebels, alright? In Rebels, of course, you know, Season 2's finale, Twilight of the Apprentice, I believe that's the actual episode in which we got it. In there, she's fighting him in the Sith temple. Alright, she cracks the helmet open, she sees Anakin's eye, he comes back as Anakin for a split second. And it's in that moment in which we do get to see a glimmer of hope for Ahsoka about Anakin Skywalker having good in him, basically. So, the fact that they're having this nightmarish situation happening throughout Ahsoka's mind, based on the events of what happens in Ahsoka Season 1 when she goes to the WBW, fights Anakin on Mustafar, and takes Kenobi's place, only to find out that she cannot change the past, she cannot change the events of him becoming Vader. The WBW have specific boundaries, specific rules, and limits, so to speak, and she's gonna learn that. That's basically what that episode is gonna be about in Ahsoka this summer. So, a lot of great things coming out of this. I'm very happy that they're using proper de-aging technology this time around, because let's face it, Hayden's de-aging tech when he was in that training session against Kenobi, it seemed a little off in certain shots where he looked a little bit older, he had some wrinkles here and there. He's supposed to be playing a very young man, and it really came across as very strange in some shots. But anyways, fill me in, guys, on what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.